As Radio Kerry and my wife's employers Fexco are aware, we lost our home after a lightning strike on January 8th this year. It was the most horrifying, surreal, numbing, uncertain and overwhelming time we as a family have experienced. Everything we had mentally and materially and physically, as well as we went to bed on January 7th, was gone in an instant at 2:19 a.m. on Sunday morning. We woke, thank goodness, and realised that 37 years of creating a home and always putting everything into our home was gone, and the remainder of our income went on our children's education. We had little in the bank. Lynne Fenton went to Callaghan on the Sunday morning as Tesco opened and bought us underwear, t-shirts, toothbrushes, hairbrushes, came back and delivered these to us at our amazing neighbours' houses, Liz Fenton and Deirdre Callaghan, who gave us beds, food, clothes and love, then and ongoing this year and even now. They organised the GoFundMe with Lynne at the helm. She took time to voice our needs on Radio Kerry and highlight the GoFundMe, and collated and organised the efforts of help and endured days of calls, logistical organisation, emotional support, and then the physical work of looking through the debris. These three people, but Lynne at the helm, if we can only nominate one, but I'd like to nominate all three, helped us survive and rebuild. It was only possible because of the GoFundMe and the thousands of amazing people who donated. And that's from Joe Toms and Marie Fenton Toms of Wingafuka, Carrolake in Callaghan. I'm delighted to say I have Lynne Fenton in studio with me here. Liz Fenton can't come on. We're busy working in our health system this morning. And also, of course, we've Deirdre Callaghan with us, has just one thing to say as well, but we'll get to that. Marie Fenton Toms, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jerry.
Take me back to that January morning, first of all. Looking back on it now, almost a year later.
Yeah, I can't believe actually it's a year. I try not to think back to that morning as much as I can, because we're trying to look forward. We're only able to look forward, but that morning, our world had ended as we knew it. And whilst we were so grateful that we were all got out, and the fire crew were amazing, actually we didn't know what way to turn. We simply were numb and in shock and couldn't even speak or make a decision. Deirdre and Liz and Lynne and their respective partners simply took over without one word from us and did everything in their power to make sure that we were going to come out of this okay. And actually, because of them and because of our whole community, my family, my dad, but particularly those three people who were by our side with their partners every single hour, they never slept. They sent my daughter and I to bed either, while my husband and my son were taken to hospital. And those people worked like Trojans for days and weeks. And all through this summer, when we encountered a problem, they were there by our side. And without them, actually, I think we would have totally and utterly fallen apart, and we actually wouldn't be smiling and looking forward to Christmas. They are phenomenal, amazing, kind, beautiful, the most generous, selfless people you could ever hope to have as friends, and we're so fortunate to have them.
Okay, very well said, Marie. Lynne, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And congratulations.
Thanks very much.
I'm sure this morning was probably your morning list. It was the last thing on your mind when you woke up on January the 7th last year. You sprung into action, I suppose, in a time of crisis.
Yeah, we kind of did. We were sound asleep in our beds, but we were awoke by some thunder and lightning. And we were trying to get back to sleep after it. The kids had woken up as well. And next thing, my husband got a phone call from another neighbour to say Mary's house was on fire. We were like, what? You know,
the last thing you think would happen, like the last thing you expect.
Yeah. So I said, and it's going up fast. So we just jumped in the car and got the kids as well, and we went back to see what could we do, what was needed, what we didn't know, what we were facing into, I suppose, when we went back. And we found the lads in the sitting room of Deirdre's house, and just kind of sprung into action there. There really wasn't a lot we could do. The fire crew were doing their thing, and they were doing Trojan work, and, you know, asking Mary what did she know where there was any sentimental things and stuff that they could, run in and get and stuff like that. It was all a big shock to them, and they were just, with just copious amounts of tea and biscuits at, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that. And we went home, and I lay awake that night. And I think maybe I got an hour's sleep or something like that. I was kind of thinking, oh my gosh, thank God, first of all, that they were all okay and nobody was, severely hurt.
Did you know at this stage that everything was gone?
Well, you'd kind of have an idea, because what wasn't ruined by fire was ruined by water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and smoke damage and everything else like that.
Absolutely. And really and truly, until you can get into it, to see what's inside there, you don't have any idea what is gone, or if everything is gone, or... so we didn't know what was gone. But I just kind of lay awake and said, okay, right, if I was in this situation right now, the second and I lost everything, or fire or anything, what would you need? I said, right, you'd need underwear, you'd need to brush your teeth, you'd need just really practical
the basics.
things. So I went into Dunn's or wherever I went the next morning, and I just got a bag of stuff, and I said, okay, that'll be there for them. And I knew that they would get things like that from Deirdre. You can always borrow stuff, there's no problems with that. But I think when you've lost everything, you want something of your own. Yeah, and that's the way I was kind of thinking, so yeah. It
was the emergency phase of that, but then you move on to all the other phases of dealing with the situation, and the GoFundMe page was crucial as well. But then there's as mentioned in the nomination, there's the whole emotional fallout which continues, I suppose, I'd imagine, from a shock like that.
Absolutely, because you're running on adrenaline, I think, for the first few days, maybe even the week.
Yeah.
And with all the media stuff that was going on, and then initially they weren't able to do any media stuff because it was just too much of a shock, and then in the coming days they were able to kind of come around a little bit and do some reports and stuff themselves, which is great, but the emotional, and really it's the emotional toll that it takes on you, and the shock, and that wears off, that adrenaline wears off, and then you have a crash, usually with anything, so that's quite difficult.
And tell me about Liz working this morning in the bonds, keeping our health system going. Tell me about yourself, her and Deirdre, and the support you try to give as a team, I suppose.
Yeah, you just I suppose as a team, like we were back there and just kind of, okay, what has to be done, right? Practical things, what has to be done? Oh, this has to be done, that has to be done. Say, okay, so there was kind of nothing more practical. It's okay, we need to go over to the house now. And so while, let's say we were over the house and trying to pull out and store stuff, where will we store it? Make a call to this person, see have they a container, and all of this. And it just all happened really, really quick. And then Deirdre and Liz were over at the house, and they were, right, we'll do our practical bit, and they would make dinners and food and all of that kind of thing. And it while it was hard, it was great to see the community coming together, and to see people coming together and just getting in and doing anything practical that they could, because I think they would have lost a lot more stuff if we hadn't been in that day and been able to bring out some your sideboards and just different
small things. Yeah,
absolutely,
to make a difference. Okay, Deirdre Callaghan is with us on the line. Deirdre, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jerry.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You've one thing you want to say in particular.
I just really wanted to thank Mary and Joe for nominating us for the award, and just say it was a total unexpected surprise and very nice, lovely thing to happen just coming up to Christmas. Yeah,
amazing. So you won't be fighting over the piece of pottery, the award?
No, we won't.
We'll make out a schedule first, all right.
3 months here, 3 months there, something along those lines. 4 months maybe. That'll be the way. Well, Deirdre, look, it's one of those things, and I know you wanted to thank the community as well for the way they rallied around, and the GoFundMe and how all that took off to really help.
Absolutely. And also just to wish Mary and Joe all the best for the remainder of their rebuild. It's great now when I look out my door in the mornings to see there's a roof back on the house, and progress is happening, and we look forward to welcoming them back into Minnefuka next year.
Brilliant. Mary, tell me about that. How is it going? And it's obviously a project to be stressful enough, but it's great to be in that process, I'd imagine, from where you were last January.
It wouldn't have been possible, actually, without the trio, their respective partners, but more so the whole of the community, and actually border into the whole of the country and to the UK, where we've got a sterling team back there at the moment, Pat Moriarty, Jason and Mike Moriarty. The poor men have had flus and awful colds the last few weeks. They're battling the weather to try and get the property watertight so that they can continue to work after Christmas.
Yeah.
But actually, it's beautiful going back there now, because every day there's another stage completed and achieved. And actually, by next summer, we'll be back in the house, please God, and we can't wait to be back there. But it's only possible because of the love, care and support, monetary and emotionally, that the whole of Callaghan has given us and beyond. The fire crew, my family, but these three ladies and their partners have been physically by my side since day one, and by my husband's side, and nothing like where we stand today couldn't have been achieved. None of this could have been achieved, because we would have crumbled without them carrying us in the early weeks and months, when actually Lynne was right. Initially, adrenaline takes over once the shock wears off. But when you start to realise the amount of jobs ahead of you and the battles that you've got to endure...
totally overwhelming, I'd say, to think about it.
And knowing they were by our side actually gave us strength every single day to carry on.
Yeah, really did. Lynne, that'll be a very special day when they get to move into the house.
Oh, it'll be amazing. We may even bring balloons or something. Because every day, when you're passing it, and it's just kind of like a sad thing. And then when they had, there was problems with the building during the year, and then you're like, oh, it has stopped again and things. But now going back and seeing the roof on it, it's like, yes, and it's just to take the sadness away from that. It sounds kind of strange, but even seeing the roof on it kind of takes a bit of the sadness away from it.
Of what happened.
Yeah. And it's nice to think, okay, yes, they're moving on another step, and even from their emotional needs and stuff like that, it's great to be able to rebuild, and I think the day they move in will be a joyous day. It really will.
Yeah, well listen, look.
Jerry, can I just say, the sadness has actually gone, because all of my children will be home for Christmas, and they are elated and excited now. It's no longer a memory that haunts them. The future is what excites them, and that's key.
That's really good to hear. Well, listen, guys, thanks so much. Well done again to Lynne Fenton, Liz Fenton and Deirdre Callaghan, who are second winners of the Kerry Heroes 2023 award. And my thanks to Mary and all the Fenton Toms. Wish you the best for the new year and everything like that.